So, another question and answer live, Jimmy.
No, it's not live, not even taped anymore. Look at the audience that we don't have here.
Well, we're late because a lot of things have gone wrong. We didn't have ink in our printer. We didn't have batteries in our camera. And our producer, I don't know what, he's sleeping over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting a GoFund today.
But here we are. We made it. We're sorry that you guys had to wait, all three of you, or four.
How many, Patrick? 4?
How many do we have waiting?
Go.
We have a lot of people waiting. They were all commenting on how wonderful you are, Jimmy. You always get the compliments.
Yes, I'll accept the compliment.
They say for every compliment you get, there are 1,000 people who want to compliment you but don't. Did you know that?
Yeah. Who told you that?
That's just an old advertising
Yeah,
thing.
an old wives' tale. Another one. Good God, man.
Oh, Jimmy, what is that gesturing that Patrick is making over there? I don't know.
He's raising his middle finger? No.
Well, Jimmy, that's not nice. Remember, this is a family show.
Family show. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll think Brady Bunch the whole time.
Right.
Yeah, Brady Bunch.
And so we got a comment today about 20,000 subscribers. We're going to mention that again.
Mm-hmm.
We're on our way to 21,000.
Yeah, and when did the stocks go public?
The stocks, yeah. I don't think that's ever going to happen, Jimmy.
I just thought I'd kind of throw that out there,
you have to. You're the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, I want to question, why do you get the comfortable chair, the beautiful wing chair?
Because this is the only thing I get for free. There's no, I don't have a budget. I still haven't get paid from, how long have I been here
You
now?
didn't get those checks? They've been in the mail since I've known you.
They're probably going around the world about the third time already.
You're going to have to check with the human resources on that one, and also the accounting
They
department.
keep hanging up on me.
That's pretty bad. You know you're in trouble when human resources keeps hanging up on you. Anyhow. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right in. Oh, I did want to ask you, how is the Facebook sign-ups?
More people coming on. More people, another 5 or 6 at least every week.
It's a lot of activity, Jimmy.
Well, I want to know if that T-shirt's in your paycheck.
No, this was who was that again?
Randy.
Oh, Randy. He's
your buddy.
He's looking out for me. I know he is. But no, this is out of my budget. I even have a sweatshirt, Randy. Actually, I have 2 sweatshirts.
You do?
Yeah.
And you have a lot of fans. You really do. I mean, people are learning more from you than they are from me, and I mean that sincerely. I do mean that.
Well, but you're the guide.
Yeah, you're the one asking the right questions. Like, we want to talk about it. Once we get through the Facebook and the YouTube questions, I want to talk to you about what you did today on this chair as an example.
Yeah. I feel like this was definitely another lesson with regard to the...
Well, we're up to lesson number 7 on this.
Right.
Next week will be 8. And people have been asking about wing chairs forever. And we just did a YouTube video. Patrick, when is that YouTube video about the 3 wing chairs, including this one, that we did today?
I'll put it up tomorrow.
So another YouTube video coming about redesigning.
Question, since everyone's asking, I know we did the channel back chair, but would you want to put this up when it's done instead of the channel back?
What do you mean?
Well, switch them around so when... I don't know how long it takes for Patrick to edit the lesson.
No, he's ready with the channel back, right, Patrick?
Are you?
Oh, we could do that. We have to wait till you're done filming it. I don't know how many more classes we have left of this.
4 more?
But the chair that you're sitting on is the YouTube that we just did. Randy actually commented about the last one that we did, the last YouTube, which we took a hotel piece of furniture. Really, it's a hotel furniture.
Okay. Which
a mass producer turned it into more of a living room, privately owned piece of furniture. But these are vintage chairs. The examples that we had on our next YouTube video of how to improve a vintage chair.
Yes.
That's been done over a few times since its beginning, but changed a little bit. Okay, so let's get... So you're doing good as the administrator. You're doing good on the Facebook. You were just telling me before we were on that sometimes people are calling you 2 in the morning to...
No, I mean, when I get up, because I get up very early in the morning, I'll see, the so-and-so's requesting, wants to sign up for the Upholstery on Broadway as a Facebook member,
and the whole world. And you could get somebody
I look
from
at the
China.
time and I'll say 2:30 or 2:20 in the morning, 1 o'clock.
You could get somebody from Australia. You could get somebody from anywhere.
I got to start writing down. I should, because of the fact that, you ask, and it's always good to know where everyone's coming from. To a
So
point.
what they have is they have translators. Patrick probably they have a translation Google app that they have when they're listening to me to switch over to any language, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
And,
Nice.
And so I've often wondered.
I mean, it doesn't take your voice and then
Right.
it's subtitles.
But I mean, the Boston accent sometimes it's hard to decipher, Jimmy. I wonder how wicked comes out, or
A wicked
or
pisser.
awesome.
Wicked pisser.
How that translates into other languages.
Well,
like,
you know what?
there's a problem there. Can I
Yeah,
just
but-
tell my story before you
No,
interrupt?
because I got a better story for you.
All right. Okay. We'll see.
Wait. Well, you know,
let them decide.
Saturday Night Live, the commercial with the Dunkin' Donuts. You ever
Yeah.
see that commercial?
Yeah.
That's a Boston accent. Right there, some of it's right there is Boston accent. And yeah, you got to laugh at it.
Right. I wonder how that translates. But so, for instance, like Ben and Jerry, you know the famous ice cream people.
Yes.
They had an ice cream called, what was it called? Monkey chunks or something like that.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
But in Japan, it's translated into actually chunks of monkey.
Oh God.
So it didn't go over too good, that ice cream.
well, yeah. I mean, everything has a little bit.
There's a little nuance. Sometimes
Somebody in marketing obviously did not do their job.
Well, I think they totally didn't expect that. I mean, you can't
Well, you gotta
expect somebody in
think-
marketing to know Japanese, Jimmy, right?
Well,
Or the
no, but I
culture.
mean, you can't say chunks of monkey. I mean,
Well, you
what's-
can't say it over there when you're eating ice cream. It's not very
So
appetizing.
it's a vanilla-based ice cream with, and what are you going to do? Start? I mean, somebody.
It's pretty gross. But how does this relate to upholstery? I want to ask you, Jimmy. How does that? Let's get going.
The Boston accent.
Oh, okay. Let's get going to the Facebook. The first Facebook, Patrick, is Phyllis.
Yes.
And this is extraordinary, you guys, that Phyllis, my first makeover, this is her first attempt. Patrick, you have that up there? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can tell, Jimmy, what is Jimmy?
Mm-hmm.
What is before and after in that
I
picture.
commented on that. I think
Let's
that's
see.
a
I wanted to
fantastic
read
job.
some of the comments. Dolly, I love the fact that people support each other on Facebook. I often don't have to chime in. Jimmy's chiming in with a lot of information. And then I might have to correct them once in a while, but not much. Patrick, before we move on, is there any comments live? Because that's what we're doing here, Jimmy, live. If anybody has any questions, just
got
chime in.
one.
Really? What is it?
From Jose.
Hey,
how much
Jose.
money can the upholstery shop need to? How much money does a upholstery shop need to make a month? Thanks for answering.
Well, that's a loaded question. Is he by himself? Does he have employees? Does he have subcontractors? Does he pay rent? Where is he?
Make it basic as you can.
There's a lot of variables here, but I would say in the Boston area, you guys might not believe this, in the Boston area, if you had a shop by yourself and you had 2 or 3 employees, to break even, you have to gross between everything that you do, fabrics, labor, repair jobs, whatever it is. And if you're a refinisher, throw that in there. But the bottom line is $40,000 gross a month. That's the Boston area. That's
Right.
what's paying around $40,000 that you got to hit every month.
Because when you say rent, you're talking about
Just to break even.
Okay.
That's just to break even. So you better. We're going to be reading a post by Blair, and he says it. He spells it out how hard you have to work in order to succeed in this business. But I don't want that to scare people.
No,
because
but you have to-
work is good, right?
You have to know. Again, you talk about what your budget is for the month with the rent, salaries, and so on, equipment, and so on, because things come up at the last minute. Compressors may go. Things may not be right.
Well, now you're talking to something else. If a compressor goes or an expense comes up, you've got to have money in the bank. So you're talking more than $40,000 a month now. So really, to have a little cushion in there, you should be at $45-50 a month.
Right.
So that's
Just in case.
That's in a, if you're somewhere else and not in Boston area, but that's in a big metropolitan area, like Chicago or San Francisco, Boston area, or some of the other areas, busy metropolitan area where the rents are basically going to be about the same, and that's with 2 or 3 employees, and that's covering all your expenses except the things that come up. Except those expenses that come up, a broken vehicle and things like that.
Right, when
So-
you just had that experience.
But
so.
that, I hope I answered his question. But let's get back to Is that it, Patrick? Any more live questions?
And Nico was shocked by that price. Said, "Whoa."
Well,
That amount. I mean.
yeah. Keep in mind, though, Nico, you're talking about any business, really. You're talking about if you're a restaurant business and you have 3 employees and you're operating a restaurant in the Boston area, the numbers are the same.
Yes.
So when you're working for somebody, if you're working at entry level or whatever level you are, some jobs don't apply to this because there's no way of really gauging somebody's value.
Yeah, Jose says they're only doing residential work.
Yeah. So when you're hired by somebody, you have to make usually the old way of doing it was 2.5 times what your salary is. So if you're getting paid $50,000, that's what, 150. That's almost $200,000 you have to make for your employer,
Right.
in order to break even. That's a break even cost. So a good worker's making more than 2.5 times because you want to please your boss. Pleasing your boss means keeping your job, but those are real numbers. These are real world numbers. Now, if you're working out of your garage and you don't have to pay rent, that number goes down.
Right.
That number goes down significantly.
But you still want to be able to kind of do the job in the best way.
Well,
Hopefully-
that's tied into that is that if you don't have a brick and mortar building where people
Right.
know where you are,
Right.
and it does give you a respectability so you can increase your prices. So there's pros and cons for each way to go. But I could talk all afternoon just on this. Don't get me going, Patrick. Stop me, will you? I want to read some comments here. Dolly says, looks awesome. You're still on the Facebook, right? On Phyllis's, right?
Yeah, we got back up. Covering Jimmy right now.
Susan says, hi, Phyllis. Well, really well done. 1,000,000 times better than it looked originally. So I love these comments. Ambitious endeavor for a starter project, Ann says. Well done. Thank you. Jimmy says, fantastic. Good encouragement from Jimmy as always. That looks good. You're making progress, says Mansouri. And that's about it. You guys go on Facebook if you're not on there already to see some of this. And join, if you're watching me, please join Broadway Upholstery School Forum, and you will get an instant to Jimmy. You'll get right to Jimmy. If you like Jimmy, you'll go right to his email, right, Jimmy, or whatever you got, whatever that is you got there.
Well,
you're an administrator on the Facebook.
Yes, I try to jump on them all the time. No
Okay,
matter
so
what.
let's go to the next
Day,
one.
night, weekend, holiday. I'm always there.
The next one, I really love this.
They talk about your experience and everything. I mean, he told you he was showing up, right?
So Blair, who's been following us since, I'm not sure how long Blair actually.
Picture's up right now, you guys, up front.
Yeah, you see the picture of us out front, Blair and myself. Blair's from Alabama, and he's got a beautiful shop called in Enterprise called Gilly. I think it's called Gilly Design. Oh, I should know this off the top.
Designed
by Blair.
Yeah.
And he's in Enterprise, Alabama. And one of the striking things about his visit was I asked him, because this is tied into the question that we were just asked about making money and how much you need. So I asked Blair, what was his first, we were talking square footage. I said, what was the first square footage? And he knew right away. He said 40 square feet. He was in his living room. He said he started in his living room watching our YouTube videos, Jimmy.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
When I've done some work in my living room, it's been hard.
It is hard, but you have to start somewhere. So then he said his second location was a garage. So he knew the square footage of that. I think he said 400 square feet. And then the third location was a shop front. And I think he was at 1,500 square feet.
Wow.
And then he went number 4 space. He just opened up another place at 3,500 square feet.
I think we should go work for him.
I know. Well, he is an enterprising young man.
But there's a lot of pressure, like you said, about owning a business because not only you have workers working for you, but you're working for them in a way that you're providing the atmosphere to get the job done and to make things hopefully better for everybody.
So he says in the comment, this is where it all started for me and upholstery. Kevin Kennedy and Upholstery on Broadway Incorporated in Arlington, Massachusetts. Paved a way on YouTube. I finally got to meet a man I've looked up to for some years now. All of those videos and long hours of studying have led to a shop, Designs by Blair, in Enterprise, Alabama. And you guys can see that up there now. Can they?
Enterprise, Alabama. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Can they see the video, Patrick, or no?
No.
Okay.
I have
We
a
gotta
picture of
work
you guys
on
up
that.
front.
And we just by chance, one of my friends who's 10 years older than I am, who's been upholstering for 10 years, at least 10 years longer than I, was at the shop, and there's a picture of him in there with Blair. So I like to think of that as representing the oldest and the youngest upholsterers, probably in the United States. Now, Blair's a young 26. I mean, and he has really, his learning curve has really gone up, and he recently posted in his own, I can't read that right now, but he recently posted on his own site, which I think is Designs by Blair. You guys could go to that and check that out. He goes into a little bit more detail about his success, Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
I think-
And Nico says she wants to visit you, so.
Yeah,
I'll go.
just give me a.
We need a budget to entertain. See, people are coming to see me.
Maybe you could be the MC. Maybe you can do that, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, I'm doing it now, and I'm holding you together. So come
Yeah,
on.
you are. We have to rent you a tuxedo, one of those
one of those shirts with the tuxedo on.
Yeah, not a real one, because we we
Yeah, I
have a
know.
budget to.
Yeah, I know. Nothing over $5, but less than 10.
I think burlap would be nice. Burlap
Would
tuxedos.
you? Well, if you can stitch something together for me.
We could.
Yeah. I knew you'd probably come through for that.
Aren't we nice fellas?
Oh yeah. Your wife reminds me all the time. Kevin's a nice guy,
He's a
Jimmy.
nice
Don't worry
guy.
about it. He'll show.
He's a
He'll
kind
shine
man.
through someday.
He's a kind man. The kind you want to just.
Forget about it. I've been trying to do that for years. He keeps coming back.
Jimmy, you're a hot ticket. Our next one is Phyllis Carter Rogers.
And the next two posts from Phyllis are kind of the same. It's that chair, and then she shows a picture. If you want to skip ahead to the other one, Dad, of
Okay.
Phyllis. There's a close up of the. I think it's the back. I can't tell.
Oh, hold on now. You got me.
Well, there was two posts, but then one of them is the same picture. So.
All right. So do you want to go to?
It says forgot to do it before until I was almost done stripping, but here it is after.
I think we saw a before and after, Patrick.
No, we didn't do that yet.
Oh, hold on. I got to go back now, right? I
No,
don't-
up. You get the picture of the chair?
Yeah.
Go up. Go up.
I got Ryan. I got Blair. I got the 20,000 subscribers. I've got Phyllis.
And there's two pictures.
Phyllis? Or what did
Phyllis.
Yeah, you said. Oh, never mind. You were right. So okay, so I got the two pictures.
Yeah.
You've got the two pictures
Yeah.
up there. Hold on a second. Sorry, you're right. And so the two pictures are. Oh boy, this isn't working out so good, Patrick.
Well, I have it up. I'll read it.
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
She says forgot to do it before until I was almost done stripping, but here it is after. So there's her two pictures. I don't know if the people commented on that. Might want to find it.
For some reason.
Oh my God! Give me the phone. So you deviate off the script. This is what happened.
Get me back on Facebook. Facebook.
You got a picture of Jimmy up here. Not even anywhere close to the. There we go.
Jimmy wants the spotlight, even on the telephone.
There we go.
So forget to do this before till I almost done stripping it, but here it is the
And there's a
after.
close up there.
Very good. Love it. Okay, now
Next should be Nico. She had an experience with it.
Nico, this is a really Jimmy. I know Jimmy has read this, but for you guys who aren't on Facebook, I'm going to read it. It's really cool. I think it's great. It reminds me of another story. But she says, "I've been accommodating this." Oh, this is.
Now make sure you say, "Oh my God."
Oh my God! I've been accommodating. This isn't the one I'm thinking about. She's got another post up
Yeah,
there
she's
too.
a lot of cool ones.
I've been accommodating this potential client since July. First, it has been, "Can you help me find the fabric?" After picking one, she changed it. She was scheduled to drop off the sofa yesterday, but wasn't able to rustle up the deposit. Today, she calls me. She says she has sold the sofa and wants to pick up the fabric, but still wants me to reupholster 3 other chairs. I quoted her already, but I think I lowballed myself. I need to increase it, especially since she's so wishy-washy. Steps off soapbox. What? Well, anyhow, she's got a problem client, and she did get some good comments on this too, but we all get them. I mean, they can really take up a lot of your time. I got a Michaela. If we get to our segment with Michaela, we had a situation on with a customer recently, and a couple of customers now that are dragging their feet and then changing their mind. You know, you can work hours with somebody, and then they say, "This is a little bit over my budget."
I think I'm gonna wait.
Or they just walk, or they've been at the same time been getting other quotes from other upholsterers, and they have the time to do this. But we don't. I mean, it's part of life. You know, I got the big boy pants on, Jimmy, so I'm not under any illusions, you know.
No, I mean, well, you got to know that, you know.
So you have to kind of work this into the price of all of your work. You know, you have to work into the price that you're going to be wasting a certain amount of time. So that unfortunately, the time you're wasting does add on to other people's projects. But anyhow, it looks like I'm boring you, Jimmy, over there.
No.
Let's go back to Nico. So she's got some comments. And then Susan says, tell her everything's changed to make up the ante, or to give up the ante. Diane says, no good deed goes unpunished. I don't know what state you're located in, but I think one of our clients may have moved from, this is Randy's wife. Did you see that, Patrick, that comment? Let me just read it without laughing. She said, no good deed goes unpunished. I don't know what state you're located in, but I think one of our clients moved from Wisconsin to you. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, that could be true.
And I said, welcome to the world of retail.
Yeah.
But always remember to be of good cheer, even if somebody's wasting your time, right, Jimmy?
Well, again, you have to kind of, know that they can, you give your best presentation, and they'll, well, let me get back to you. Well, okay, that's a good thing to say. Get back to me in a couple of days, but you hear from them in a week and a half. It's like, oh, okay, well, it looks like I lost that customer,
But you always present yourself in a professional manner. Showing that you're upset or mad does not help anybody. Could get you a bad review. So you always have to treat people with a lot of respect. Even some, let's face it. Every once in a while, you're going to meet Jimmy. Even you meet somebody that you don't like. So, but you never let them know that, right?
No, you kind of just say, again, you're asking them, what would you like to do with this chair, the ottoman, the dining room chairs? I'm giving you the best price. This is what we can start work on. You bring them here. There's a fabric. We're all set to go whenever you want to bring them by.
There used to be a show on, I can't remember the name of it. I think I want to call it Temperature Rising or Test Stress or Stress Test or something like that. But it was all about setting up a situation where they test your patience and how long you would put up with something. I can't remember the name of it. Boiling Point.
Oh.
It was called Boiling Point, Patrick. Do you remember that show?
No.
Well, they would set it up where they would put, like in a store, they'd have somebody come in. There'd be a hidden camera, and they'd check it out, like, to test you, to push to see, and they'd have a clock. Where the boiling point is going to be. Some people only last a minute. Some people go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's tolerance levels are different.
Right. Well, it was interesting to see. Malcolm says, in any business you will have unprofitable customers.
Yes.
Identify who they are quickly and fire them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, somebody who comes in, you'd hate to be thinking that once, even with those chairs that you mentioned, with the fabric, that they come in after you've started the chairs. Oh, can you kind of do it this way? And, pretty soon, why don't you just give them the chairs in the fabric and just say, here you are. You know what I mean? After a while, it gets to the point where they're basically micromanaging you, even though you're the one doing the work.
But it's always good to be polite, even with the difficult customer.
No, right. As polite as you possibly can be.
All right, let's go on to Maureen, unless there's a question or answer or comment, Patrick.
Randy's doing a good job. They're talking about what you were talking about with the Randy's wife, the comment she made.
That was pretty funny.
That famous line, "I have to talk it over with the wife," usually translates to "you never going to see me again."
That and the handshake, right, Randy? The handshake usually means the deal's over, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, yeah.
Sylvia's visiting the East Coast. Unfortunately, not. She's going to be in Maryland.
Let's just go.
I said, head up this way. Visit the shop.
The funny thing about when you got a sale? It's when somebody leaves an article of clothing or their purse behind. You know that they're going to come
comfortable.
back.
They're
comfortable, right? When they give you a firm handshake to say, "Well, we'll get in touch." That's it. Don't ever see them again.
Well, sometimes people need to think. They need to debate whether they actually may want something done. They may be on a budget too.
That's right.
The next one is Sarah. Not Maureen. That came up because
right, Sarah says, you got that picture up there, Patrick? How much would you guys say the average quote is for a settee? Or at least how many hours? TIA. What's that mean, Patrick?
TIA.
Anybody know what TIA means?
Nope, sorry.
Thanks in advance.
Oh, okay. How did you know that, Patrick?
Well, you broke it down.
Let's take a
Unlike
look.
you, Mr. Flintstone.
Well, I have you to know that Fred Flintstone's on the cutting edge of technology in his day, you know.
Yes, well, he worked at the quarry for how long? Anyway, but how many hours well, my settee may have been a little bit different because...
His settee.
Can we dim the lights for a minute?
You did a good job on your settee.
But it took about 3 to 4 hours worth of cleaning it up, and that was down to...
You know what? I'm going to let you answer this question because you did one just like this. So you tell them how much Sarah should get for that.
I would probably go.
No, don't think about it though. Don't give a quick answer because you were just talking about the time it took you.
Yeah, alone it was 3 to 4 hours of cleanup time, and that was down to just the coils and the frame, right?
And how many hours was the class?
24.
So 27 hours.
Right. So a good $1,200-$1,300.
So where did you get that number?
In my head.
Let's say 30 hours. 30 times 30 is $900.
Right.
So 30. So you're at $40 an hour.
Right.
Now that's your brain, $40 an hour, because you don't have to pay overhead. You don't have to pay
rent.
There's
no overhead. Right.
No overhead where Jimmy comes. Jimmy's world has no overhead, you guys. So you're at $40 an hour, which is about right.
Yeah.
But I'm at $80 an hour.
Right.
For the same settee.
Right. So that again, looking at it,
that was good. That was good how we figured that out because that's tied into the question that we had about how much do you need to make in order to in the business, right?
Right, but see, even if let's say I was charging $40 an hour, the idea is if I had the overhead, I would have to charge what you do because of the fact that you're running a shop, you're running a storefront, you have bills out of that storefront. You have heat, you've got electricity, and you've got equipment you have to buy. So that.
Oh, it goes up. The list goes on and on. Don't forget insurance.
Yes.
Don't forget electricity.
Yes.
Bigger space. Heating.
Yeah.
Supplies. All that. So many variables. And who was surprised at that number, Patrick, with 40,000? Somebody. Nico. And Nico's got another question here. Do you have that chair up there? I think we're going to do Nico a favor here.
That squiggly one?
Yeah. So, Nico.
Yes, I have it on.
That is a chair that I probably would look at and say, I don't want to do it. But if you want to try to do it, let me read it. Someone asked if I could reupholster 4 of these dining chairs. How are chairs like this done? Let me answer that first. Those are a manufactured chair that could be molded on. What you got to remember when you look at a chair like this, a little different, very different type of a chair, that they've done probably. They've had people design this, and just for the patterns, which you do have the benefit of having the patterns because you have the chair. You could take it apart carefully, make a pattern, and make a sleeve like you want to. However, it took them a long time to come up with the exact pattern that they needed, and also the application. I couldn't tell you how they have this. They probably, if you guys are looking at this, the second picture, which shows the whole length of the chair, the up and down, on the seat portion is where they probably pull all their fabric to get it tight. But I'll tell you what, I probably wouldn't even go near this. I probably would, because there's all kinds of problems with this anyhow. Customer says the chair has no seams. Jimmy, no seams.
Oh, guess what? You're going to be making seams. That's
well, definitely sew the faux leather like a sleeve and slip it on. You're definitely going to have to make seams on the sides and maybe even the tops. They haven't sent more photos, but I Googled for the additional image. Any info into this share is most appreciated. Well, what I would say, let's see who answered. Well, nobody's answered this, but I would probably lose this job. Try to lose this job.
Really, just too much work.
I mean, unless Nico, you like a challenge and you're confident in your skill. But to me, when I say I want to lose a job, I know that there's no profitability in it. I'm going to lose money on a chair like this, and I don't even think I could. First of all, if I really put it 3 times what I would charge on it to try to cover my costs, the customer would never do it. So there's one problem. If I 1.5 times the cost, expecting a little bit of a glitch, I know I'm not going to make money. But in other words, if I price it to get the job, I know I'm not going to make money on this job. That's what it translates into. I know I could do the job. I'd figure it out because we upholsterers are good problem solvers, right, Jimmy? But with the caveat that you are going to have seams, that there's no way, I don't know of any way that this wouldn't have seams. I'm looking at it.
Right, manufactured is one thing. Hand stitching and hand.
Well, you can't hand stitch faux leather. It's going to be a faux leather, which complicates the problem.
Yes.
Well, with fabrics, sometimes you can do a hand stitch here and there to make it look just right. On faux leather, you can't do that. Faux leather doesn't hand stitch. I don't care how good you are at hand stitching.
Now, when was the last time you actually did a leather ottoman, a chair, or anything like that?
We did recently. I did a whole 12 set of them. The leather always and faux leathers always present their own problems, specific problems.
Okay.
So, like for skirting, and if somebody wants to do a skirt on a leather,
I would think. It's the same thing. It's just you need a special needle with your.
Well, no, I mean it's not a proper thing to do. You just can't do it. There's some things you just can't do on leather and faux leathers.
Okay.
So Nico also, she's been very proficient here, very very busy. Nico, it sounds like you're well on your way. I don't know where you are in your. Maybe this will tell me, but she says, do you have the next one up, Patrick? Yep. Hi, folks. I want to visit family and found this. This is interesting. This is the one I like.
Okay.
I went to visit family and found this chair on the sidewalk. Flipped it over the weekend and sold it before I flew out.
Wow, that's.
I'm very proud of myself. She probably paid for an airline ticket with her skill.
Yeah.
I used what was available at my parents' house and got new foam and tack strip via Amazon. Do you like? Of course. I love the story more than I do the furniture, but the furniture's nice too.
Yeah, she did a great job.
I love that. Let's see what the comments that was said. Susan said, looks miles better. Did you spray paint the frame, or was the fabric color that appears to bring the gold color out? She says, thanks. First I used Brasso, but there were spots that were too far gone, so I spray painted. Jimmy says, nice fabric. And she says, thanks. It's a mud cloth. Right, Pat? We know a little bit about mud cloths, right?
Yep.
So let's go. I think that's the last one for that, right, Patrick?
Yep, that's the last Facebook.
Can you get Jimmy to look at the YouTube ones now?
Yeah, I can do it on your phone.
All right, and then Jimmy.
But in the meantime, you can answer this. Hector wants to know if you've ever done a steering wheel in leather.
No,
wow.
I've seen videos of people doing that. And it seems tough because it's very tight.
We've been getting people to get us. People have been bugging us to start doing automobile.
Yeah, and I want you to because it's really cool.
Patrick thinks
well,
it's
we
cool.
have to do it. I don't know. We don't do it because, that's different equipment.
Well, you say you need a bay, but I've seen other companies do it without a bay.
To do it properly, you do. Now,
you definitely need a good platform because you are taking the seats out, and you got to know how to kind of. I mean, some of the seats today, especially. Car like mine is all electric, so now you got to disconnect everything.
Oh, it's a pain.
Yeah, and it's a lot heavier.
Yeah. So we just sold some material, some rubberized horsehair for a guy out in California who had 10 Mercedes-Benz in line waiting for this material, this rubberized horsehair.
Start right here and go up from there.
So we do sell supplies to automobile upholsterers. So you want to start? Jimmy's going to start now with the YouTube comments.
This is from the Golden Years Acres, 10 days ago. For what a customer pays for having chairs reupholstered, they would expect all new materials, especially material that absorbs odors and oils from humans and animals. I know we want to upcycle, but the cushion is the best place to do so. Thank you for your demonstration. Your tips are very helpful.
So
I think that was on the new video.
There are two pricings. when you talk to a customer, contracts, you ask any judge sitting on any bench anywhere, local judges, and I'm not talking Supreme Court, we're just talking local judges, they'll tell you that the biggest caseloads are contractual problems. When people contract with one another, a contractor talks to the homeowner, usually in that capacity. Something gets lost in translation, and they put a dormer on a house where they didn't want it, for instance, something like that. Or so there's problems with. So when you're talking to a client, you make sure you go over the different types of upholstery there are. One is restoration, which means takes it down to the frame, Jimmy, and get rid of all of that if there was any
I
fire.
know that at least once in my life.
Jimmy does that. Take a look at the settee class, and you'll know what that means. Or reupholstering, which means take all the old fabric off, replenish, refresh where needed, like cotton,
this
like
chair
this
here.
one. Jimmy would put new cotton on this. And, of course, those are two different price structures. Most people go with the reupholstery, especially if they've owned the piece of furniture and they know the history of it. They don't have to worry about dog smells or anything like that. And you're actually taking care of the top layers by removing them.
Yeah, most of the time.
And usually it's half the price to reupholster, but that's the answer to that. So what's the next one, Jim?
Next one is the fixing a popped button for free. Mommy for Life says, a genius, thank you.
Genius, are they referring to you, obviously?
Not me. You did the pop button. I didn't.
Well, we have two videos on pop buttons, which are kind of interesting. One is with the professional German needle tools and the clasps.
Okay.
And the other one is using a washer and just using what you have in your kitchen drawer, which was a good quick fix, Jimmy, for that.
Okay.
So thank you for that. What's the next one?
Hector Martinez says congratulations 5 days ago.
Isn't Hector on there now, Patrick?
No, that's Jose.
Okay.
Hector just said something, actually. He is on here.
I told you. I told you. What's he saying? What's Hector saying? Tell me.
He said, do you have a pattern oxen color camel naga hide? You ever heard of that? Oxen color?
Ox blood.
Is that what it is?
It's called oxblood color.
Okay.
And oxblood color is usually red. Michaela probably could answer this question better. Do you know what oxblood color is, Michaela?
So ox blood's different than any other blood?
It's different from any other color because it has like a little black in it too.
Really?
It's really hard to describe. It's like black background and red. I bet Randy Diane probably would have a better explanation on the color. I don't have an example to show you guys, but it's really hard to describe. Very unique. So what was his question? Can I get it?
So he said, do you have it? So maybe he says, do we offer it?
It's
I don't
funny.
think you do naga hides anymore, right?
Naga hide, it used to be in the naga hides, but I don't think I've never seen it in a faux leather.
Wow.
So, it's
And naga hide is thicker than leather?
Naga hide's the first synthetic to come out.
Okay.
Synthetic. It's all synthetic leather. That was the first one. It's thicker. By the way, more long-lasting than the faux leathers they have today.
Yes. Well, my mother had...
Nico says deep burgundy.
Deep, there you go. It's a deep burgundy, but it has this, what do they call striation or background color. What do they call that, Michaela, when there's a background color? There's a prime color, and then behind it there's another color. There's a name for that in the art world, but I can't think of it right now. But Google, Patrick, or ask people to Google oxblood, and they should come up with that color.
Okay.
What's the next one, Jimmy?
So, Someone in Debbie's Dream. This is, yay, congratulations. I watched you when I was upholstering my first chair, and you will never know how much you helped me on putting the arm on with piping.
Great.
And pulling and cutting to fit. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
Randy says 5 days ago, congratulations. Thank you for all the help and advice. You've been a big help to a lot of people. Great job.
Thank you, Randy.
And let's see, we're on the upholstering a dining room chair for part 3. Thank you for this tutorial. I appreciate the time and effort you put in to share it. I learned so much and you teach very well. I feel confident enough as a total beginner to do a similar chair which I found abandoned without upholstery by the side of the road. This is the rescue mission.
Great. I love these stories. We get more of these stories, Patrick.
We should have music in the background, maybe like a harmonica or something.
Yeah.
Kind of like the theme from Lassie, maybe.
Oh, that would be nice. Jimmy.
Yeah, but not. Yeah, okay.
I had that happen to me in class. A girl in class. She's the excitable type, And she came up to me in the middle of class and she said, "I'm looking for the stuff that you put on." I said, "Okay, just slow down, Lassie." I said, "I feel like I'm on an episode of Lassie, and the dog's trying to tell me where Timmy is in the well."
Timmy's always following that well.
She actually finished up she thought it was funny.
Well, I'm glad she had a sense of humor.
She
Well,
did.
We have a good class on Thursday night.
You were in the class, I think, Jimmy, when that happened. No. By the way, I should mention here, Patrick, the online classes are doing great. Yeah. We still have 4 openings if you're in the Boston area.
In person. You said
in
online.
Person. Did I?
Yeah.
Well, the online classes are doing great, too, with Jimmy, the star of those online classes.
Because, once we get this wingback done, it will be 2 classes ahead.
Yeah, that's right. And so the online class, the in-house classes, we have 4 openings left for the next semester. So this is
already
really,
almost booked.
Yeah, so if you guys are local to the Arlington, Massachusetts area,
you want to have some fun on a Thursday night.
We have somebody coming down from New Hampshire, by the way, taking the class, because there's no classes north, south, east, and west of us.
West is on your left.
Well, east. East is the ocean, so we don't have any cruise liners offering upholstery classes yet, Jimmy.
Oh, Europe.
Dance class is what they order.
Well, don't mention dance classes. This guy does everything, you guys. He's a ballroom dancer. He does sewing. He does upholstering. He does cooking. Go ahead, read the next one.
How to upholster the 1860s chair, Part 5. The measure and applying fabric. From Ms. Funky Pish. Hi from Scotland, loving your videos.
See, we're Scotland.
Yeah. Now, see, we should learn the accent.
I just have one thing to say to her. Freedom!
Freedom?
Yeah. Braveheart. Come on, get with it, Jimmy.
I'm sorry. You know what? I've always watched that movie in bits and pieces. Never.
You should watch the whole thing because it is a good movie.
I know.
There's nothing historically correct about it, though. That's
well, people say, "Oh yeah, I know. I used to. Yeah, my uncle told me." Oh, okay, whatever.
All right.
Nothing ever in the history books about. Wow, look at the things that we've come up with.
Everybody's related to famous people.
So the next one is improving your furniture with this one trick, easy, from Janine. I love the creative process of enhancing an ordinary chair into an elevated design statement. Thank you for showing us with this great example.
Janine's been a great friend right from the very beginning, Jimmy.
Is she the one that comes by every so often, right?
Oh, no. She lives in Australia, Jimmy.
Oh, I'm thinking, who am I thinking of?
So we have Australia, Scotland, we have
we could go
Belgium.
on a world tour.
Yeah.
Right? One of us could.
We could send you out there, Jimmy, into the world.
I'm almost in every time.
We'll send you with your stick and your what do they call it?
Hacky sack. I could like quiet chain cane.
Yes, time for you to leave. It will be soon.
You're gonna put a quarter in your hand. For those who used to watch that in the 70s, but that's okay.
Yeah, Kung Fu. Yeah. David Carradine, he was great in that.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee was really upset that he didn't get that role.
Well, when you see David Carradine fight versus Bruce Lee, come on.
Well, Bruce Lee's skill. Come on, his skill level was. The cameras can do anything. They can even make me look like Bruce Lee if they want. Patrick could do that with the camera here.
That's
Patrick, that's your next mission. That is your next mission, Patrick.
Maybe Emerald. I could probably.
Maybe can you get him looking like maybe George Clooney or Matt Damon?
What do you mean looking like George Clooney? You're looking at him right now, my
friend. I think I do Emerald.
And he's wanted again, Patrick. You're supposed to bring him back. You're supposed to say, I smell burnt toast. And that will bring him back. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Oh, no. Now I got
Is that
something.
It?
No.
Uh-oh. Malfunction.
Oh, wait a minute. No. Okay. Caning to the upholstery conversion, upholster and preserve your caning. This is from Kim. I'm so thankful to have found your channel. I've had my great-great-grandmother's kitchen chairs, and I didn't want to put one holes in the chairs past canning. Now I know I wasn't wrong. Your instructions are lovely. Thank you.
Oh, good. The canning world has a big problem. There's not many people doing it, and the people who are, not so good.
Well, I think years ago it was a fashion statement.
Right.
When you had caning chairs and whatever piece of furniture, maybe even an ottoman at the time. But I think people didn't realize that once it starts to sag and things start to go on it.
It's not a great design anyhow, so.
No, but you gotta be prepared that things are gonna go on it. That's one thing you don't have. You just can't do it. Let's see, where am I? Oh, the DIY upholstering a sofa part 1 stripping fabric. Where can I buy fake leather for a very cheap price to change the fake leather of my sofas? This is from
I tell them to be careful.
Aiden Few.
Tell them to be careful with faux leathers, and honestly, if you could find Naugahyde, old Naugahyde somewhere, that would be better than the faux leathers. I hate to say that, but it's true. So if you go to a remnant store, go on Amazon, or find maybe somebody selling, some of the original Naugahyde. I'm sure there's still some in shelving somewhere.
Is that more expensive than?
No, I think it would be cheaper.
Really?
Faux leather's expensive. I think. What are you talking faux leather, Michaela? $125 a yard.
Is it really that?
It's very expensive.
Now, what if you were putting it on a, let's say, a wingback chair? What do you think the length of durability would be if it's
on a manufactured piece? 2 years.
Really?
On a piece that I would do with supposedly a better faux leather, 4 years, 5 years.
Really?
I do not like it. I don't use it anymore.
Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the classes that we did that years ago, somebody brought in some leather chairs, not fake leather chairs.
Real leather.
No, I believe it was fake.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do it again, but the fake leather had peeled.
Yeah. Faux leather, fake leather peels off. It gets a little moist, not even from like direct water, but maybe even from climate. And it starts to bubble, and then it starts to peel. It's really bad.
Wow.
Compare that to real quality leather that can last 150 years, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean that's the part that I kind of say. How do you justify, that price when you're talking? It's only going. I mean, if it said 10 years, but then it's a matter of debate.
I think that they get, it's a new product that comes out. It wasn't really tested, and then it starts to fail, and they have to do something about it.
So do you think because it gets mass produced, it becomes less quality?
Well, exactly. They start limiting the chemicals used. They start stretching the chemicals. The process gets trying to shortline the process, and then you end up with the bad product.
Okay.
So what else do we got there, Jimmy?
The last one's from Randy.
Okay.
And this is a few hours ago. Another great video. This is improving your furniture with this one trick. Another great video.
That was a new video.
Yeah.
Yes, I had something like that in the shop a few months ago. I did exactly what you did. I talked with the customer and explained that I would be putting welt cord along the back. Showed him sort of where it would be by drawing chalk line. Also put welt where the inside arms and the back joined. I then restyled in this way, also made for an easier job, less sewing.
So, Randy, I love the idea of working with the client, getting the client involved in the process. That actually goes a long way for customer service. Randy is a good customer service person out in Wisconsin. If you ever need an upholsterer out in Wisconsin, what's the name of Randy's shop, Patrick?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. I should know this.
We should get business cards.
Well, I think Randy has sent. Maybe he can answer quickly on the live. I want to give him a shout out, Patrick. So, Randy, if you want to just remind us of the name of the shop, sorry about that. All right, and now we're off. Thank you, Jimmy. We're off to Michaela's.
Before that, battery switch.
Battery
One
switch.
sec.
Okay, so we'll have 1 minute, one pause here. This is. That was quick.
Yep. And we're back.
All right, we're back. Now, this is a segment that everybody loves, Jimmy.
I know.
It's the segment where you leave and say good. No.
I actually have to go to the local supermarket, so that's okay.
Well, tell us all about your life, Jimmy. What do you do? No, never mind.
Yeah, please don't.
This,
Sound just like Dad.
everybody wants to know where Jimmy goes after this. All right, Michaela, you want to read out some of the pricing questions?
Yes, so there's one from October 16th, Kimberly.
Okay. Ooh, this is a good one, you guys.
It's a womb chair and an ottoman.
but go read it. I'm gonna put the picture. up
I
there.
think she made a spelling mistake or something, but
Oh no, she did in the gut. GUT.
oh yeah. Well, I guess yeah.
She means
Gut rehab of a womb chair and ottoman. So that would mean everything needs to be removed.
That's quite a job, you guys. And we do have one of these A to Z, don't we, Patrick, with the womb chair?
Yeah, we just did one like that. They posted on Instagram. It was green, remember?
We've had a few of these. We have runs of these once in a while, but this is a big job, Michaela, because Patrick, why don't you tell people what you and Michaela had to do with that one?
Well, was it?
All right, scrape all the
Yeah,
foam off.
we had to. They were smaller though. They weren't the big one like this, right?
Same thing, though.
Yeah,
I think
they were the same shape, but a smaller size.
Yeah, you're right.
And there were multiple different ones.
You're gonna have to do the same thing with this. Tell people what you had to do.
And somebody had to stand there with a hose for the
Yeah,
vacuum,
the vacuum.
while the other one of us had to rip open the fabric. So the yellow disintegrated, pretty much, it was just what, dust. The
Yeah.
yellow dust. The foam had turned to dust. And so yeah.
So it's a lot of work.
It's
Just
very
the
messy.
prep work is a lot of work. So
Esquire Upholstery.
Esquire,
Randy,
sorry,
yeah.
Randy.
Plus we forgot that because that's a memorable name.
I don't know why we forgot. So if you're in Wisconsin, look up Randy at Esquire Upholstery. He can help you out. So on that womb chair, it's $2,300 labor plus 9 yards of fabric. Okay. Got that?
Yes.
And what's the next one?
Okay. Well, that's the only new one that hasn't been answered.
Yeah, we can answer a couple of the old ones. Let's show a couple of the old ones if you want, like that next one.
Jeffrey?
Yeah. So I just want to show that picture. So this is one of those. This is called biscuit. I don't know if they can see that better. Can they see that? It's kind of hard to
Phone's a
see.
little bit dim.
It's the picture. It's not the camera. But that's a round ottoman with biscuit tufting, which it's a little odd for a round something round. See that, Jimmy?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Usually you want to do. Well, first of all, usually you don't want to do any tufting on a seat or an ottoman. I could tell that this is a new piece. This is not an older piece of furniture. An older upholsterer would never do this because it's not a good design. But anyhow, so we charge appropriately enough because you got to do it the same way, I think. I mean, I could probably change it, but it looks like they wanted it done the same way.
Hector wants to know, is the price of foam expensive where you guys are? HR foam, he says. I'm not sure.
Yeah, foam's gone up at least 50%, you guys. So be aware of that when you're pricing. That has to add. You have to add that into your pricing. So good evening. I wanted to get an estimate for a tufted. Oh, so I'll let you read that, Mikhail. Sorry. Can you read that?
Yeah, so he says, good evening. I wanted to get an estimate for a tufted leopard print velvet ottoman, approximately 37 inches round. I would like to get the same fabric again.
So we quote labor and how many yards of fabric you're going to need. We never quote how much the fabric is per yard because we don't know. And I wanted to ask Mikhail after I answered this. So I said the labor is $775 plus 4 yards of fabric. But I'll ask Michaela, can you get this leopard
Well, I
print
know
velvet?
Kravet has
Right.
some
We
leopard
could get
print, some leopard print velvet,
My experience with this type of
but
velvet,
it's going to be very expensive.
It's expensive, and usually, what I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, the more expensive a fabric, the less likely it is to have stock in it. Do you ever notice that, Michaela?
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want to spend the money on the expensive fabric to have big stock. I think what they do, I don't know if you agree with this, is, I mean, I see all kinds of problems with this estimate. You know, they're very specific on what they want. They want me to biscuit tuft it again, which I'm not even going to argue the point. I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see that there are 2 buttons popped on that picture already. So I see problems there. And I see problems in the fabric. I see problems even getting the fabric. So I see a long process with this one. So, do I really want this job? I would take it if he says yes. Then you're going to have to research it, Michaela. But do you find, is that true? Do you think manufacturers, let's say over $100 a yard retail, I think they produce less of that on hand. What do you think? Do you think that's true?
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. We'll never get a straight answer from them, but that seems to be a trend, that when you're looking for high-end fabrics, they're less available than low-end fabrics. That's what I'll say. I've seen the trend. Do you want to read one more?
So actually, the person with the womb chair just got back to us.
Well, what'd she say?
She said, "Hi, thanks for getting back to me. Would I come in to look at fabrics?
Wow.
I hope you saw that I have an ottoman as well, but
I
didn't send the
didn't.
picture."
It didn't see the ottoman. So
That was in the. It was in the. She did say it.
So that's cool, you guys. I'm really happy when I get a job like that. It's a good job, and the fabric. So tell her, you can give her your times that you're available, and give her a price on the ottoman now. Say the ottoman will be $450 plus another 2 yards. Then give her your availability, Michaela. That's cool. Patrick, we got a response from the email on the womb chair. They responded live. Live, they responded. That's the first time that's happened.
Wow. Good news, I
You
hope.
said 450, and is there any change to the yardage?
Yeah, she's going to need 11 yards total, because we said 9 on the womb chair.
Yeah.
So another 2 yards, so 11 yards. Obviously, that's a person who either knows us, who's done work with us before, or has researched us online and seen some of the, or maybe has seen Patrick. A little shout out to Patrick, who have seen our A to Z womb chair recovery or reupholstery on YouTube. And it's another thing that I think was it Hector that asked, or Nico who asked about how much a shop should make. To make that money, you really need to be well advertised. You have to be in business for a while. I think, Nico, you got to be patient. If you're just starting, you might have a week or two where you don't have any work at all in the beginning, but you have to be patient with that. You have to build a business, and I'm talking about a business that's been built up. When I refer to when I talk about those pricing, that takes some time. I mean, there's a real dedication that happens, and I think, again, Nico, I think you should go on Blair's site to take a look at what he has said. He's recently spoken about this, what he had to do, or what he's currently doing in order to have a successful business. It's a wonderful study, I think, for anybody just starting out. And that's Designs by Blair, right, Patrick? Designs by Blair. Go on his Facebook and take a look at his recent posting if you want to try to get an idea of what it takes. It's hard work, no doubt about it, right, Jimmy?
Right, it does.
But even when you're working for somebody, I mean, this guy gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning to work a whole day.
Yep.
And you've been doing that for a long time.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what it takes, hard work. So let me know when you're ready. Read one more, I guess, Michaela, and then that should finish us up. How long have we been on, Patrick?
Oh, looking at an hour now.
Okay, that's a good amount of time. I hope people don't get too bored with this, but with this, a lot of good information. It doesn't come out all in the same time in the beginning, but it takes a little to weed out the good information, right, Patrick?
Yep.
So, and I think that this segment that Michaela does is so informative, and we do it at the end, right, Patrick?
Yeah.
And do we do it at the end for that reason?
Yeah, the people are so exhausted by the time they get through the Jimmy and you segment. They want a nice relaxing.
They want a relaxing segment, right?
All right, so.
Oh, there's more. Okay.
Oh,
One more.
we did get a response from Peter.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's a long,
complicated.
kind of a long.
That's
thing.
complicated. That's very complicated, and we don't have time for that. But maybe next time. I think we should finish up, Michaela.
Okay, because there isn't really any more. The only other one that is recent is asking for a repair, not.
All right. So
not an upholstery.
what I want to do now is let Jimmy close us out, Patrick. But I
What?
want.
Me?
Would you mind, Jimmy, as
Come
part
on.
of,
As
part of
Alice the cook, that's who I should practice with.
as part of closing us out?
Well,
Could
yeah.
you talk about your project? And then I'm going to say goodbye now. See
Oh.
you guys later.
Well, unfortunately, we didn't get to the chair this week, but we have started the upper and lower wings, and hopefully next week you'll see it all completed. Again, we ran a little bit short on time this afternoon with regard to stapling the back and the sides, but hopefully we'll see everybody next week on next week's show. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. The next week isn't a holiday.